Are you still struggling with whether to use GoodNotes or Notability for note-taking on the iPad? Today, I will make a comprehensive comparison to help you better understand these two apps and make the right decision. Here's a preview. In the coming weeks, I will release a complete comparison of nearly 20 common note-taking apps on the iPad. You may discover that there are apps even more powerful and cheaper than GoodNotes and Notability. If you are interested, be sure to follow my channel. If you would like me to compare more apps, let me know in the comments. Now, let's start the ultimate showdown between GoodNotes and Notability. First, let's compare file management. Open both apps and go to the home page, and we can immediately notice their differences. On GoodNotes, the navigation bar is on the left, while folders and notebooks are on the right. Its biggest feature is that files are organized in the form of folders and notebooks. We can place folders or notebooks on the home page, and folders all support nested management. On Notability, the navigation bar is also on the left, but it also includes subjects and dividers. We can understand subjects as folders, which contain multiple notebooks displayed on the right. A divider can be understood as a higher-level folder, where we can place subjects or even nest other dividers. In this regard, neither is better than the other, it depends on personal preference. GoodNotes can create more types of files, including notebooks, study flashcards, folders, photos, scanned documents, camera photos, quick notes, quick recordings, and imported templates. Notability creates subjects and dividers on the left, and on the right you can create a new note with one click. Although it supports fewer file types, the operation is simpler and saves more time. However, through widgets, GoodNotes can create notes more quickly, so in this regard, GoodNotes has the advantage. GoodNotes allows you to favorite folders and notebooks, and notes can be shared as links, making batch operations easier. Notability cannot favorite or share subjects and dividers, it can only favorite individual notebooks. And to share as a link you need to open the note first. This point goes to GoodNotes. I made a chart summarizing this part of the comparison. You can screenshot it to save. Next, let's compare template creation. In GoodNotes, tap the plus icon to create a notebook, and here you can set both cover style and paper style, or you can create a quick note, which automatically creates a notebook with the preset template, but quick notes have no cover. In Notability, there is no complicated setup, you just quickly create a notebook, and there is no cover. Considering that GoodNotes offers more options, in this regard GoodNotes wins, but personally, I prefer the simplicity and speed of Notability. In GoodNotes, when we create a new note, we can create a new template at the same time. We can name the template, choose different sizes, and even customize the size. In Notability, when creating a new note, it uses the default template that was set in advance. You cannot name it at that moment, you can only rename it after creating the note. And Notability only allows fixed paper sizes, without custom sizes. This point goes to GoodNotes. GoodNotes allows you to directly import a template when creating a new note. Notability cannot import a template at the moment of creating a new note. You must import a template after creating the note, or before creating the note by opening a saved template file on your iPad with Notability, so this point also goes to GoodNotes. GoodNotes allows you to choose a default background color and even customize colors for each template style, including line colors. Although Notability also lets you customize background colors for basic templates, you cannot customize colors for other styles. And more importantly, it cannot change line colors. This causes a problem. If I use a pure black background template, the bright white lines interfere with my writing. Since GoodNotes allows darker line colors, the background looks cleaner, so this point goes to GoodNotes. A drawback of GoodNotes is that you cannot manually adjust the line spacing of paper backgrounds. This is frustrating because the same template looks very different on iPads of different sizes. If you are used to writing at a fixed font size, it may look just right on the iPad Air, too big on the iPad Mini, or too small on the iPad Pro 12.9. You are forced to adjust your handwriting size. Although GoodNotes offers two options, wider or narrower spacing, it's still hard to make it perfect. Notability, however, allows you to adjust line spacing, which makes it perfectly adaptable to different iPad sizes. Unfortunately, this only works for basic templates. In this case, I believe Notability wins, and I also think this feature is more important than some of the others. GoodNotes has a marketplace with a wide variety of templates, both free and paid. Notability also has a template marketplace, but it doesn't seem as rich as GoodNotes. This point goes to GoodNotes. I made a chart summarizing this part of the comparison. You can screenshot it to save. Next, let's compare page management. After creating a template, let's look at the note pages. GoodNotes' note page looks more complex, with more icons and relatively less writing space. Notability's note page is simpler, with only the essential tool icons visible, and others hidden, leaving more writing space. This point goes to Notability. GoodNotes cannot set margins when exporting pages, nor can it include recordings, but it can include annotations and sticky notes. Notability can set margins, include recordings, and even add page encryption, but it cannot include annotations or sticky notes. Considering the importance of margins, recordings, and encryption, I believe Notability wins here. GoodNotes allows you to change templates inside a note page, but it cannot change templates for existing pages. Notability allows you to change the template of an entire note page. I cannot judge which is better. GoodNotes is more flexible, while Notability is simpler and more consistent, so I consider this a tie, depending on personal preference. GoodNotes lets you add, copy, rotate, add to outline, bookmark, jump to, clear content, or delete pages. Notability lets you add, copy, bookmark, jump to, clear content, or delete pages, but it lacks rotation and cannot add pages to an outline. This point goes to GoodNotes. I made a chart summarizing this part of the comparison. You can screenshot it to save. Next, let's compare handwriting input. Both apps provide a good writing experience, and the pens can all be set with size, line style, color, etc. GoodNotes has 3 pens: fountain pen, ballpoint pen, and brush pen. You can fine-tune them with settings such as tip sharpness, pressure sensitivity, tip flatness, and stroke stabilization. Notability has only 2 pens, ballpoint pen and brush pen, and it does not allow fine adjustments. This point goes to GoodNotes. GoodNotes provides many pen gestures, such as scribbling to erase or circling to select and move content. Notability does not have these gestures. This point goes to GoodNotes. GoodNotes also offers smart modes such as writing assistants, which can detect spelling mistakes and suggest corrections. It can also calculate or decompose math equations. Notability does not offer these, but it does win in simplicity, allowing us to focus on writing. Objectively though, this point still goes to GoodNotes. The pencil stroke in GoodNotes looks more realistic. In Notability, the pencil stroke feels more like watercolor, without the textured feel of a pencil. This point goes to GoodNotes. The highlighter in GoodNotes can mark important content, but it covers handwriting. If we overlap colors, this problem becomes worse. Also, GoodNotes highlighter has no pressure sensitivity. The highlighter in Notability also marks content, but it never covers handwriting. Even with overlapping colors, handwriting always stays on top. Notability's highlighter can also switch to brush mode, adding pressure sensitivity. This point goes to Notability. I made a chart summarizing this part of the comparison. You can screenshot it to save. Next, let's compare erasers. Both GoodNotes and Notability allow you to set different eraser sizes and support gesture shortcuts. GoodNotes provides 3 eraser modes: precise, standard, and stroke. Honestly, I don't quite understand the purpose of the standard eraser, but maybe it's useful in some special scenarios. Notability provides only precise eraser incomplete erasing and stroke eraser complete erasing. Considering GoodNotes erasers may cover more scenarios, I think GoodNotes wins here. After using the eraser in GoodNotes, it does not automatically return to the previous tool. You must switch manually in Notability. After using the eraser, it automatically returns to the previous tool, saving time. But if you still need the eraser, you'll have to switch back again, which can be inconvenient. Of course, you can turn off auto-switching in settings. So this point goes to Notability. In GoodNotes, to erase highlighter or tape, you need to set it manually to erase only highlighter or tape, which is more flexible. In Notability, the eraser is smarter. It first erases the highlighter or tape and only erases handwriting on the second pass. Overall, their functions are the same, just with different methods, so I consider this a tie. But Notability has one advantage. Tape can be hidden instead of completely erased. In GoodNotes, tape cannot be hidden. This point goes to Notability. I made a chart summarizing this part of the comparison. You can screenshot it to save. Next, let's compare Lasso tools. Both GoodNotes and Notability support selecting handwriting to move, resize, copy, delete, or change colors, which helps with quick layout. GoodNotes Lasso tool allows you to move selected content forward or backward in layers, so text can float above or below images. Notability cannot move layers, images cannot cover text. This point goes to GoodNotes. In GoodNotes, once you select handwriting, you cannot adjust stroke thickness or line style. In Notability, once selected, you can adjust stroke thickness or change it to dashed lines. I think this feature is very important, so Notability wins. GoodNotes Lasso can capture screenshots of selected content. Notability cannot do this. Even though I don't think this function is used often, this point still goes to GoodNotes. GoodNotes Lasso cannot group content. Notability allows grouping, making it easier to bulk edit or delete groups. This point goes to Notability. GoodNotes allows you to add comments to selected content. And when selecting handwritten text, it allows line breaks like in text boxes. Notability cannot add comments or line breaks to selected content. This point goes to GoodNotes. I made a chart summarizing this part of the comparison. You can screenshot it to save. Next, let's compare multimedia insertion. Both GoodNotes and Notability allow inserting photos, stickers, and sticky notes, making notes more rich. GoodNotes cannot insert GIFs. Notability allows inserting lots of fun GIFs, and even lets you get them directly from the web, making notes more lively. This point goes to Notability. Images inserted in GoodNotes can be stretched but not flipped. And when resized, they do not stay fixed in position. In Notability, images cannot be stretched, but they can be flipped. And when resized, they stay fixed in position, so you don't need to reposition them, so Notability has the advantage here. Sticky notes in GoodNotes can be minimized, hyperlinked, and can cover handwriting. Sticky notes in Notability cannot be minimized, cannot include hyperlinks, and cannot cover handwriting. Honestly, I don't understand the point of sticky notes in Notability. Why not just leave blank space instead? This point goes to GoodNotes. Sticky notes in GoodNotes can only change color, not background lines. Sticky notes in Notability can change color and add background lines. This point goes to Notability. I made a chart summarizing this part of the comparison. You can screenshot it to save. Next, let's compare text input. Both GoodNotes and Notability support text input, allowing you to insert text boxes anywhere. After typing, you can edit text as in Word, change font, size, color, italics, alignment, etc. GoodNotes allows adding links and comments to text, so you can quickly jump to a page or website. Notability cannot add links or comments. This point goes to GoodNotes. In GoodNotes, selected text can be translated or searched on the web. Notability does not allow translation or web search. This point also goes to GoodNotes. Text boxes in GoodNotes cannot be rotated. In Notability, text boxes can be rotated, making content more fun. This point goes to Notability. I made a chart summarizing this part of the comparison. You can screenshot it to save. Next, let's compare recording tools. Both GoodNotes and Notability can record your writing process along with audio, creating an immersive playback effect. They both allow basic editing, such as renaming or playback speed. In GoodNotes, you cannot tap handwriting to jump to a recording. In Notability, you can tap handwriting to jump to the recording, making it easier to review. This point goes to Notability. GoodNotes does not allow pausing a recording. If you pause and then resume, it creates a new file. Notability allows pausing, and multiple segments appear in one file with separators on the timeline. Notability also supports merging and splitting recordings, making it more flexible. This point goes to Notability. Both apps support audio-to-text transcription, but GoodNotes does real-time transcription, while Notability requires the Pro version for real-time transcription. This point goes to GoodNotes. I made a chart summarizing this part of the comparison. You can screenshot it to save. Next, let's compare other tools. Both GoodNotes and Notability have virtual rulers and scales, making it easier to draw precise lines. GoodNotes offers two rotation methods: manual rotation and entering a number for precise angles. Notability only allows manual rotation. Although the difference is small, GoodNotes has the slight edge. GoodNotes has a timer, useful when practicing exercises. Notability has no timer, so this point goes to GoodNotes. I made a chart summarizing this part of the comparison. You can screenshot it to save. Finally, let's compare other functions. GoodNotes only has an undo gesture, but not a redo gesture. Notability has both undo and redo gestures, which is more efficient. Its undo gesture is the same as Procreate, so you can keep the same habit. This point goes to Notability. GoodNotes only supports left-right split screen, which is less friendly for small iPads or portrait users. Notability supports both left-right and top-bottom split screen, making better use of space on small iPads. This point goes to Notability. GoodNotes toolbar cannot save favorite tools, and it can only be placed at the top or bottom of the screen. Notability's toolbar can save favorite pens, pencils, highlighters, erasers, and can be placed on any side of the screen, adapting better to your habits. This point goes to Notability. GoodNotes allows setting hand grip positions, but in my tests using the default setting, different grips made little difference. Notability does not allow setting grip, but also showed little difference, so I think there is no real difference here. In GoodNotes, pinching quickly brings up the toolbar. In Notability, pinching only switches to the eraser, and it doesn't seem optimized for Apple Pencil Pro. This point goes to GoodNotes. When multiple notes are open in GoodNotes, switching between them is easy. In Notability, you need to slide out the left sidebar to switch notes. Although GoodNotes is easier, Notability's hidden sidebar makes better use of space. So this depends on preference, but GoodNotes may have a slight advantage. GoodNotes supports almost all platforms: iOS, Android, macOS, and Windows. Notability currently only supports Apple systems, which is limiting. This point goes to GoodNotes. Another important feature is AI document summary. I don't understand why the AI summary in GoodNotes disappeared after I upgraded. Maybe it's a region restriction, or maybe it will be part of a more expensive subscription. I emailed them but haven't gotten a reply yet. Notability, however, offers AI document summary in its Plus version. This point goes to Notability. Finally, we have to mention, and this is the most important thing, the price. GoodNotes pricing comes in several cases. The free version is limited and almost unusable. The annual subscription that supports all platforms costs $11.99. The one-time purchase price is $35.99, but it only supports iOS. The annual subscription that supports Android and Windows costs $6.99. Notability offers a free version, monthly subscription options, and annual subscription options. The annual subscriptions are $20 and $99. Compared with that, GoodNotes' price is much higher. I made a chart summarizing this part of the comparison. You can screenshot it to save. Up to now, we have compared nearly 50 differences between GoodNotes and Notability. They each have pros and cons, but overall GoodNotes features are more complete, while Notability is more concise. Functionally, GoodNotes has the advantage, but personally I prefer Notability's simplicity. If you have to choose between the two, we must consider price. Obviously GoodNotes is more affordable and its features are more comprehensive, so overall GoodNotes is more suitable. Of course, it also depends on each person's habits. I don't think GoodNotes or Notability are necessarily the best note apps on the iPad. Soon I will introduce note apps that are even more powerful. If you want to see them soon, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.